when we were studying about the rise and the advent of Christianity, we have already seen how exactly it started and where it took place. So here you can see a map of Europe, and we have already discussed the fact that Christianity became the official religion of Eastern Europe, right? Eastern Roman Empire, after Constantine decided to legalize it. But before that happened, the entire Roman Empire got divided into two parts, which was one, the Western Roman Empire, and two, the Eastern Roman Empire. Now, this sort of, divide that was created between the two empires also affected the trade of the Western Roman Empire. And slowly the Western Roman Empire started to move into a state of decline. And it was not only because of the declining trade, but also due to the barbaric attacks of the tribes in these areas. So the Western Roman Empire suffered the attacks from the barbarian tribes, which ultimately led to its decline. So as you can see in this particular map, that when Byzantine Empire was thriving, Christianity had become the official religion, and it started to spread far and wide. So this area of the Byzantine Empire right here is already dominated by the religion of Christianity as well as the other areas surrounding it. So Antioch, Damascus, Jerusalem, areas of Rome, far and wide, Christianity had already spread, and it became the main religion of that area. Now, while we are talking about, the phase where Byzantine Empire was still thriving, we can see an interesting change happening around this time, around the Arabian Peninsula. We see, therefore, that a new religion started to flourish outside the eastern borders of the Byzantine Empire. So we have the Byzantine Empire marked in pink here, and these are the eastern borders, and this is where the new religion is starting to thrive, right? So this was the Arabian Peninsula, right? Now, so we see that Islam is starting to take shape in the Arabian Peninsula, and it is spreading far and wide. Thus we see that both these religions are coming in close proximity with each other. Now, both these religions had certain, different doctrines that they followed, certain principles that they followed. So here, do you think that in further future, these two religions are going to come face to face in a conflict? In order to know about that, we'll have to delve into the history of this particular religion known as Islam. So, when we study about Islam, before going into the details of the religion, we will have to study about this particular area, that is the Arabian Peninsula. In the pre-Islamic times, the current Arabian Peninsula has these countries such as we see Saudi Arabia, we see Yemen, Oman, and it is covered with Red Sea in the west and Persian Gulf in the east. Therefore, the pre-Islamic Arabia, or the Arabian Peninsula that we are talking about, was an area that saw an intermixing of cultures, because there were a lot of people present from different cultures. As you could see that there were Christian areas which was present there as well. Now, in order to know what exactly was the situation in the Arabian Peninsula, let's take a look at the animation. Now, in this animation, you can see that we have Mecca and Medina here, where a lot of tribes, different tribes, were living in the Arabian Peninsula. Now, these tribes often came into conflict with each other. Now, these people lived in very harsh conditions in the desert, and their main occupation was trading with the towns. Now, these people earned their livelihood through trading itself. Thus, all these people, all these different tribal people who used to go into conflict with each other often went into these small conflicts with their allies. For example, if you look at this map here, we have 3 areas marked. We have Mecca, we have Yathrib, and we have Taif. For example, the Quraysh tribe that was situated in Mecca, were friends with the Ghatafan tribes, and they took their help to fight certain conflicts that they faced. Now, the Arabian Peninsula was, run by these certain kinds of tribes who came to power at one point of time or the other. Now, these important cities, therefore, for example, Medina or Mecca, were dominated by tribes like these. So, for example, Mecca was dominated by the Quraysh tribe that we looked at just now. Now, these people who lived in these cities, important cities and towns like Mecca, Medina, these people had a specific sort of religion that they followed, and their religion involved polytheism. Now, what is polytheism? Polytheism is basically when the people follow different gods and goddesses. So, it is not just one single idol worship, right? So, these tribes believed in many gods and goddesses, thus their religion became polytheistic in nature. But why did they do so? So, they believed that these gods and goddesses, protected certain specific spaces or areas in their universe. For example, these tribes believed that they protected the tribes in various ways. It could be nature, or it could be their health or wealth. So, therefore, every aspect in their life had one god that they allocated those aspects to. Now, if you look at the screen, you can see 2 seals present here, right? Now, as we discussed that each tribe had a main deity that they followed. Of course, the other gods and goddesses that they worshipped. Now, here we can look at the first kind of seal that is there of Nabatein Baitil, which is possibly of Al-Uzza. So, this is basically depicting the goddess who was called Al-Uzza, and this is how they interpreted the goddess. Now, this particular seal shows a god represented by the sun and the moon. You can see the arc of the semicircle of the moon. Now, this god was known as Hubal, who was worshipped in pre-Islamic Arabia by the Quraysh tribes at Kaaba. Now, this is also a very interesting seal, the Seal of Manat. Now, this particular god here is Al-Lat, who is represented in this particular 2nd century relief that was, derived at Hatra. And we can see in these 2 corners, one is Al-Uzza and the other is Manat. Now, Manat was known as the goddess of fortune, good fate and time. So, goddess of fate, fortune, time, as well as death and destiny. So, like we were discussing that all these gods and goddesses were ultimately manifestations of various forces of nature or the universe. So, amongst these, gods and goddesses, they also worshipped certain shrines. And one of these shrines was the Kaaba, which was located at the Mecca. Now, here at Mecca, we see Kaaba, which is a cube-shaped building. Now, Kaaba was essentially a shrine to them, which they regarded as the house of the Lord, right? And it had almost 360 idols of gods and goddesses that all over, that tribes all over Arabia worshipped. Now, this Kaaba also had a very unique feature in it, which was that of the black stone. And this black stone was very precious to all of these tribes. So, this black stone rested outside the Kaaba, and the Quraysh tribe was the one who was taking care of the Kaaba. Thus, you can understand how important a tribe or the tribal power was at that point of time. So these were the circumstances, as we discussed, in the pre-Islamic Arabian Peninsula when a new religion started to take birth. But this new religion was advocated and taken forward by a person who was born in Mecca, who would ultimately become the prophet of this particular religion called Islam. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly, learn via games, and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.